Okay, the Straw Dogs remake. This one had a lot of controversy when it came out. After seeing it for the life of me, I really don't know why. Essentially, what you have is you have Kate Bosworth, who used to be, the cheerleader, so the woman that most men fantasize over. She's going back to her hometown of Blackwater, or Backwater, as I occasionally refer to it as, after having a fairly successful, stint when it came to being on TV shows and whatnot. She's there with her writer husband. Initially, there's that friction because he's from a larger city, so he's thinking you can use a credit card to buy things, and they're like, no, we use cash, what the poor people use to pay for things. So immediately there's a bizarre friction between, here's this guy who thinks he's better than everyone else, even though he's kind of doesn't have that vibe. He's still a prick. Don't get me wrong, but you don't get that much of a vibe of like, he's like, I'm better than you guys are. But anyways, they go back to to her old home. They need to have some roofing work done on the barn. Okay, well he hires a bunch of kind of her friends who have more of a good old boy mentality of showing up kind of early, doing some work, maybe knocking off kind of early, maybe just going out hunting for a day. And he's really not that sort of guy. He's used to the more professional way things are being done as opposed to the more laid back approach. Okay. The guys kind of don't like him. He's kind of indifferent to them. He goes to church one Sunday and he's like, he leaves everything. It's just not for me. It's just not. The guys take him out hunting. Ironically, they leave him out in the middle of nowhere with a rifle that he doesn't have a license for when it's not deer hunting season. And while they're doing that, a few of them actually take umbrage to his wife. One being a former lover, the other one being the weird kind of creepy drifter looking best friend. Ironically, she never really tells her husband, oh hey, by the way, when they took you out in the middle of nowhere and kind of left you in the forest with a rifle in your hands, where you could arrest her for poaching, I was sexually violated by two guys. Never really bring that up. Instead, you have a side story where the guy who was Dracula in Blade 3, I think it's Dominic Purcell, plays a mentally handicapped guy who has, I almost want to say he's being led on by James Wood's daughter. James Wood was the football coach for all the good old boys who were doing the work on the roof. Through a bizarre kind of twist of fate, Kate Bosworth and her husband accidentally hit mentally handicapped Dominic with their car. And being that the hospitals are really far away, they take him to their house, and they're like, we should have an ambulance showing up here pretty soon, which then leads to those two and the mentally handicapped guy trying to defend their house against the good old boys and the football coach because they think he's done something to his daughter. Bear in mind, they're not looking for his daughter. They instead hunt down a guy because they think he did something to her. They didn't try to find her. So you only really have violence, essentially, in the last like 20 minutes of the movie. The rest of it, it's decent, except for the couple of gaping plot holes. Like, why wouldn't you tell? Oh, hey, yeah, you know those guys? Yeah. Yeah, they raped me. If you want to do something about it, that'd be great. And so I'll just be kind of mad at you. I'm not going to actually tell you what happened. Something like, you're weak and you're pathetic because you decided to try to make nice with the people that we're going to be living with for some time. And then the bizarre kind of like, here's what happens after Varsity Blues happens and a few years go by and you've made nothing of your life and you still relive your glory days. That's the definition kind of Straw Dogs. And then at the end you kind of go on kind of like a killing spree. with movies like like Last House on the Left and movies that are kind of that era. There was a very definite distinction of these people are mentally deranged, and that's why they beat somebody, raped them, left them for dead, or you know beat somebody, raped them, left them for dead, and then found that the person was still alive, and then try to murder other people. There's always some sort of like larger web of debauchery and murder around these characters, and these just kind of seem like good old boys. Like yeah, it almost seemed like if Al Bundy and his friends one day were to go on like a homicidal rampage. It does not seem to click all of a sudden. They go from give them or we're going to set your house on fire. Shouldn't you be looking for your daughter? No, we're pissed up and drunk. Okay, so pissed up and drunk means you're gonna go like on a shooting spree and try to set a house on fire because somebody made us something to a daughter that you're not looking for. I expected a lot more from the way it was portrayed in the trailers and whatnot, and not bad, but it's a very very slow moving movie that the payoff is kind of weak. And ironically, you can see the end death coming a mile away.